Hello, everyone. I am DJ Leandro. Welcome back to the DJ Leandro Music YouTube channel. And in this video, we're going to be discussing about phaser, exactly what a phaser is, how to use a phaser, and also some cool sound design techniques we can use with regards to a phaser. Okay, so what exactly is a phaser? Right. Basically, sometimes you'll hear in certain tracks, you'll hear, let's say, a swirling, spacey, sort of like a drowning kind of effect, and you've always wondered how is that made? Well, that is a phaser actually being used to create that sound. So, in detail, what is a phaser? A phaser is an audio effect that creates a sweeping or a swooshing or swirling sound by altering the phase of an audio signal. Basically, what that means is it takes two signals, one being the dry signal, which is the unprocessed signal of that track, and the second one being the wet signal, which is being processed, and it splits these. Then what happens is the process path goes through all the pass filters. In other words, the wet signal that we were talking about, it is being sent through filters which shift the phase of certain frequencies. When these two signals are mixed back together, the wet and the dry, some of these frequencies actually cancel each other out while others reinforce themselves. This creates a series of peaks and notches in the sound's frequency spectrum. This is exactly what a phaser does in detail. Okay, so now that we know what a phaser does, let's find some cool examples on how and when to use them. Now, you could use a phaser by adding movement and texture to any sound. You can add them on either pads, synths, guitars, and even drums. Okay, so I've got a couple examples here. This is our tom loop that we have. So let's have a listen to it without a phaser. Okay, and as you can see, I already have a phaser loaded up. If you want to find it, very simple. We'll click here. We'll just type in phaser. And then this is what you're going to be greeted with. This is the standard Cubase phaser. Okay, so now that it's turned on, let's have a listen. Okay, now let's listen to our bongo loop that we have. This is without a phaser. Okay, let's turn it on. Okay, then here we have a synth. Let's have a listen to what this sounds like without a phaser. There we go. As you can hear, really cool effect on a synth or a bongo drum, percussion drum, or whatever track you're going to be working with. It really adds some nice movement and texture. Okay, so now we have a phaser. Let's go through the actual options and controls within a phaser that you've got. Okay, so these you will find in basically more or less any standard phaser that you can get. There's a lot of third-party phaser plugins. In this case, we are going to focus on the Cubase standard phaser. All right, so the first control we usually greet with is the rate or speed. In this case, it is rate from Cubase, which controls how fast you want the phase to move. So let's have a listen now. As you can see, it's 1:1. Okay. Then we have feedback. Feedback adds some of the output that we've put in back into the input for more of a pronounced effect. Okay, so let's have a listen now. We'll put the feedback at 0% and lift it up. Yeah, so as you can hear, that's what it is. And then our next control that we have is the mix control. This sets how much of the effect is blended with the dry signal. Okay, so let's have a listen to that now. Again, we're going to use exaggerated example. And then Our next option that we have here, you'll see there are two filter controls here. We have a low pass filter and a high pass filter. So let's have a listen now if we had to change this. And then another option you're going to get is spatial, which basically is going to give more space and width to your signal. So let's do that now. Let's actually try it with our top loop. Let's have a listen to this. As you can hear now, it's sort of bouncing a little bit, panning a little bit to the left and to the right. So yeah, this is very simple. As you can see, the controls are very, very easy and simple to use as a phaser. As one sound design technique that you can use, which is very cool, is automation. We can actually automate the rate. So let's try do some automation, let's say with our synth. Let's go back here to our synth that we had. And we're going to automate the rate of this. So let's have a listen now. So now that we've got some automation, let's have a listen now. Yeah, and that's it. Very, very cool, very, very easy that you could use. Another option that we could use is actually now that we've got some modulation on our synth that we have here, we can actually add a delay to this to actually make it even add more space to it. So let's find our delay, which now let's have a listen to this with our delay. Now we'll turn them off. Turn them back on. Yeah. So yeah, another cool example how we can create some nice sound design effects within our tracks. So yeah, that's just a quick overview of the phaser effect. Whether it's subtle or intense, it's a powerful tool that can be used to shaping your sound. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you at the next one.